I love these 10 fragrances so much that I would buy them in the 500 milliliter bottle size if that was a thing. Now, it sounds a little bit stupid, and it probably is. A 500 ml bottle, that's a ton of fragrance. But, you know, it's just another way for me to express my love for these fragrances. And it's another way for me to show that I would support these until the end of time. That's how good they are. And if I was able to buy literally a lifetime supply in one purchase and have it all contained within one bottle, I would definitely do that. This is all really good stuff. And one thing I do want to quickly note here is I'm not saying I would buy the 500 ml bottle size because these are weak or anything like that. It's not the case. Really, for the most part, the majority of this list are all solid performers. It's just about having that safe feeling of knowing that you have seemingly an unlimited amount of your favorite scent. Now, I will link these all down below because if I'm talking about prices, I'm going to be talking about discounted prices because that is the way to go to save money. And if you like saving money, I encourage you to check out my community tab where every day, multiple times a day, I'm posting deals on new stuff, rare stuff, discontinued stuff, and everything else in between. So make sure you get subscribed so those community posts show up in your subscription tab. That way you don't miss out on any deals because usually they go pretty quick. Also, it might not hurt to bookmark that page. Make it a habit to check back several times a day, and you're going to be getting in on some of the best deals possible. All right, we're going to kick this one off with an actually discontinued fragrance, but you could still get it for a good price. It is Bulgari Man Wood Neroli. I was thinking Wood Essence. I always mix that up, but Wood Neroli is what I'm talking about and what I'm holding up. Now, you know, the name kind of describes this one perfectly. You get woody notes, you get Neroli. You get citrus. It smells fantastic. It reminds me a little bit of Xerjoff Kobe, which kind of uses this neroli orange, sweet citrus, floral type of thing. Really a very unique summer scent. This has bits and pieces of that. The quality is amazing, and it's just a very unique, refreshing spring and summer scent that does go in a different direction than your typical summer freshie. So it's not really a cookie cutter release in the sense of being an aquatic fragrance that's very familiar or just a general citrus fragrance, right? They kind of went out on a limb here to do something a little bit different. You got to be into neroli. You have to be into citrus and that sort of thing. If you are, this is a great one to get. As I mentioned, it is discontinued, unfortunately, but you can still get it for less than $60 on discounters. There'll be that first link down below. I would get it while you can. Prices have been creeping up slowly, and eventually it's just going to run out. Now that one's kind of a double whammy. I would buy the 500 ml because I love it, but also because at some point you're never going to be able to buy it again. I wish they made a 500 ml. Now, I also have Dior Homme Intense on the list. This one's kind of funny because I own enough bottles of this one to almost equal 500 ml. I think I have 4 100 ml bottles. Now, you know, this one is very low, so that takes away from it. But, you know, I'm pretty close to having the amount of fragrance as in the title. But it would have been really cool to be able to buy a giant bottle of this stuff. They make 150 mils, you know, the 5-ounce bottle, and that's a good size. That's realistically more than I would ever need probably, but I wanted to get different batches of this one, and I love the smell so much that I just love having multiple around. I mean, in the wintertime, believe it or not, you can start to move the level of this one down pretty quickly. I've hit this one pretty hard. It's got iris, it has ambrette, lavender, that sort of thing. Chocolatey, smooth, sweet, nice iris note in here. You know, this is kind of what really got the trend going for iris. At least one of the fragrances, of course, the original Dior Homme did and that sort of thing. Prada L'Homme has kind of continued to keep that movement going. But the sheer amount of hype that this one got, and to be fair, still does get, is just insane. And the point is, I just wish that they had a giant bottle of this. Not only would it look cool, but I would never run out, and it would all be contained in one. This one here really surprised me in a great way. It is Tristam Reflesso. Has apple, it's got tonka bean, leather, and a good dose of lavender as well. So this one kind of gets compared to La Nuit de l'Homme. And I think they compared a little bit to the original L'Homme as well, kind of because of how the apple accord comes across in here. And I do get that comparison. I see both ends of the spectrum there, but I also just kind of see it drifting off in its own realm of combining leather with a dusty, sweet tonka bean with some fruitiness up top and then a bunch of aromatics like lavender in the mid. it really is a pretty diverse and expansive scent. I mean, there's a lot of depth is basically what I'm trying to say. You know, it's not two-dimensional and flat. When you smell this one, there are layers to it. And it also doesn't cost a whole lot of money either. Now, this one is an eau de toilette, but it does perform good on my skin, and I just really find myself enjoying this one. And at the price per mil that's already at, I know if they created a 500 ml bottle, it would be even better of a deal. I wish they did that. And speaking of price per milliliter, this one also blows that out of the water. This is Bentley Absolute. It's got a ton of cedar wood and pink pepper and some smoky notes in here. You know, if you've smelled Gucci Pour Homme 1, the original, kind of the amber colored bottle, amber orange, whatever, you would know that this gets you about as close as possible to that, because that Gucci, of course, is discontinued. Now, on discounters, I believe you're looking at $25 to $30 for the Bentley for 100 milliliters. Imagine how good of a price and how good of a deal a 500 ml bottle of this would be. I mean, that is just awesome. And this is another fragrance where as soon as fall starts to come around and we move into winter, I'm spraying this one pretty heavily. I wear this one a lot. I just love how it smells. I love the dry, smoky woodiness that this one gives off. And you don't need too much of it, but I do wear it often, and I do reapply because I like the opening. I just wish I could buy this in a giant bottle size and never have to think about it again. Same thing with this one right here, Armani Code Absolute. I still remember the first time I smelled this one. I was just blown away. I'm like, wow, they did it here with this one. You know, the Armani Code line has had a lot of ups and downs to some extent, and some that just didn't do well at all, others that just weren't ever really talked about in general. And so, you know, it's cool to see something like this one come out and really do well, you know, kind of riding the success of something like Armani Code Profumo. It's got vanilla, suede, orange. Man, smells great. Tons of tonka bean in here as well. So it's going to be a sweet one. You know, it's not going to be for everybody. But for me, this is what I look for in a wintertime scent. They do make a 6.7 ounce bottle, I believe. This here is a 3.7, 110 ml. So maybe the bigger bottle size is a little bit different. I can't remember. But they do go a step above this one. But I just wish you could just ball out like crazy and just buy a giant bottle of this stuff, because I would definitely do that. This is another one that I wear heavily in the cold weather. Yeah, I remember discovering Chanel Platinum Egoiste for the first time, and it was one of those deals where I was like, man, where's this been for years and years, you know, because I got this one not all that long ago, maybe a year and a half ago, something like that. I can't even remember. Feels like a long time ago, but I know it wasn't all that much. But this was during my phase of discovering aromatic fougères. When you're first starting out, especially as a younger guy, that's kind of the last thing you want to get into. But over time, I was like, you know what? I want to discover the genre. And I started getting some, fell in love with it, ended up on this, and this has become one of my favorites in this category for great reason. You know, it uses a ton of aromatics in here. It has this kind of clean, modern, fresh shower gel smell, but not like a blue fragrance shower gel, like an ultimately modern, mature, masculine, expensive shower soap like you would smell in a 5-star hotel. Just smells amazing all the way around, and it's another one that I do apply pretty generously when I do wear it, just because I just like it, and it's one that you can't really offend people with. Also, Acqua de Joe Eau de Parfum, this newer release here. I hit this one relatively hard this summer. It may not look like it, but you got to think, I've got a decent amount of stuff to choose from, and not only that, but I have to test new stuff all the time. This summer, oh, there went my cap. We were having a lot of new fragrances put out, and that stuff I need to test for full reviews and, you know, to put in future lists and that sort of thing. So my personal favorite fragrances sometimes kind of get pushed to the background, and I can't enjoy them as much as I would want to, but I did make time for this one. Now, this one does have the mineral notes, smell. It's got, of course, the sea notes, clary sage, orange, all of that stuff. It's kind of like a mixture of Acqua di Gio Profondo mixing with Essenza. You're getting the aromatics from Essenza. You're getting the mineral notes from Profondo. You're getting the original Acqua di Gio EDT aquatic DNA, and even a hint of a smoky, mature aspect from Profumo. It really is like a mashup, but still with its own unique twist. And if you want to sum it up even more, it's Acqua di Gio EDT all grown up. Fast forward 20 years, you're wearing Acqua EDT in high school. Now that you're older and you're successful and you got a family, now you're wearing Acqua EDP. That's the best way to put it. I love this stuff. Absolutely amazing. This one's very hit or miss. Light blue Italian love. People hate this stuff and they would want to buy the 0 ml bottle and throw it away, right? This one really is divisive. Same with light blue forever. And I do see why. You got to be into a very realistic grapefruit note, and you know, it's not going to be for everybody. It really is kind of a surprising release because the light blue line generally is super mass pleasing and they're not really offending anybody with the bulk of those fragrances. Some people don't agree with light blue. Intense, you know, kind of smells eggy on them, and that's, you know, skin chemistry thing, I would feel like. But this one is just straight up scent. Like, some people do not like it, but for me, this is exactly what I'm looking for in a summer scent. You get that bergamot kind of helping to balance out the overwhelming grapefruit here. That's one thing that I do really like about Italian love over forever, so maybe you would like that as well. You're getting the ozonic notes in here, kind of giving it this airy, crisp smell. The violet leaf kind of alluding to a watery, aquatic type of smell like you would expect from light blue. It just has a really nice thing going here, a nice personality to this one, very uplifting, very bright. I believe they only make it in 100 ml and 50 ml. They don't go any bigger than this. I think the original light blue, they do go bigger, but not here. And I just wish I could buy a giant bottle of this stuff and be set forever. Because it's important to note that this is a limited edition and forever is already discontinued. So it's not looking good. Please give us like a one-off 500 ml bottle. I would scoop that up in an instant. Oh man, this one here also is one I would scoop up in a giant, ridiculous bottle size. It is Spice Bomb Extreme. It's so good, the camera does not even want to focus. It's such a mean, menacing looking bottle. This one has tobacco, vanilla, and black pepper. Now, Spice Bomb EDT comes in a 5 ounce, and that's a pretty good size. That's a ton of fragrance, especially considering it's Spice Bomb. It's a loud scent that performs good. So Extreme, biggest size is 3 ounce, so you're not even getting a full 100 ml. It's, I believe it's a 90 ml, 3 ounce, isn't it? Yep, 90 ml. 3.04 fluid ounces, and I do think they make 50 mils. So it's another deal where, come on, at least throw us a bone and give us 150 mil. Maybe they do, but I don't think they do. I could be wrong on that. Regardless, I know they don't have a 500 mil, and I would want that big time. I love this stuff. The vanilla tobacco here is so inviting and just so relaxing and cozy, and just, man, this stuff here is just awesome, and I never want to run out of this. We're going to end it with another fragrance that I feel the same way about, and it's going to be another cold weather scent here. It is Mercedes-Benz Club Black. So this one has vanilla, benzoin, ambroxan. It's all about the vanilla. You know, this one doesn't have tobacco like Spice Bomb Extreme, but the silky, syrupy, smooth vanilla that this one puts off with a bit of a powdery benzoin and then a bright ambroxan tinge is nothing short of breathtaking and mouth-watering and just downright addicting. I mean, this stuff is amazing. For anyone out there who likes vanilla and fragrances, you have to get your nose on this. And in that instance, if you do really like that note, blind buy it. If you don't like that note, do some sampling around first, because it's straight up vanilla. But again, if you're into that sort of thing and you want to take it to the maximum while still being a designer scent that's going to get you compliments and be wearable, you got to have this one in your arsenal. You can get it for a pretty good price, usually on discounters. 100 mil, I believe, is the standard. I don't know if they make anything smaller. I know they don't make anything bigger, but I wish they did. Alrighty guys, that's going to do it for me. 10 fragrances that I would buy in the 500 milliliter bottle size if that existed. Unfortunately, it doesn't. Realistically, I don't need it anyway, but it would be super cool. Now, I will link these down below so you can get them at prices below retail. And also, community tab, deals every day, multiple times a day. Save money. We'll see you over there. That's going to do it for me. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you tomorrow with another one. Take care.